Good morning, Jack.
Good morning. Pardon the strange look. I've got the Jiminy Glick glasses on to cover the pigsty. Excuse me, it's not a pigsty. Pigs are great. I came back from a trip with a sty in my eye. I didn't even know what it was. Had to look it up. So yeah, looks like some sort of affliction, but here I am, and thanks for pulling the show together for me to pontificate with. Alan.
I don't I don't know if you ruined the point of wearing the glasses if you tell everyone.
Well, I've never had something like that, so I'm very conscious. Like, what the heck is going on with that? If you don't mention it, it's Stephen Stranger, or without the glasses. Like, is he bloodshot? Is he okay? You tell me. For all
You
I care.
probably need more protein.
Well, it was as we discussed. If you're a vegan advocate, let alone activist, you'd better be friggin' healthy. Otherwise, like, oh, it must be the veganism. After 10 years, has something on his eye. It must be the lack of protein, right?
Go to Starbucks and get a protein shot in your coffee since that's a thing now.
I was going to go to a Chipotle and order the extra protein burrito with twice the fried pork or beef or whatever they serve at those places.
Uh, Good morning, Ray Cooper. Can't wait. Who came up with this theme?
What theme is that,
Um,
Ray? What is the theme we're not talking about? Because clue us in.
you mean clue you in? You could look at the show before
I
coming on.
actually I did. And by the way, I do want to say, man, I just I'm kind of just landing. I got in late last night, a week out of town, which is a separate little thing about my vegan Thanksgiving, whatever that was. But I hadn't seen the intro to the show in a while, so I just sort of like seeing it fresh, and it's
Mm.
really really good. I had one person say you should just do a short intro, just go right into it. It's like yeah, there's the argument for that, but with just whatever it is, 10 or 12 images and 10 or 12 words or phrases, you really capture just perfectly the essence of the show and the themes we talk about. You show a tree and say threat. It's
Right.
just perfect.
That's like a 40-second intro. Who are you talking to?
Well, there are some shows where they just go right into talking, and we're doing more of a morning coffee, and you kibitz a bit, as they say.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that because it takes people a long time to get notified of the live. I'm actually intentionally buying time so that people don't miss the very beginning of the content. And I'm doing that now because we're still talking about nothing. So what is the theme? What is the theme of the show, Jack?
Well, you're putting me up on the quiz, and good for you. Um, so I'd say we're diving into a hodgepodge of topic, including the problem we humans create by placing ourselves above all other species. Appreciating life is one thing, but when well, as I put it, humanity's collective behavior leads to the death of all other species, and weakening our own ecosystem. Um, I think, as you put it, being top of the food chain, or maybe as I put it, top of the food chain comes with responsibility, and we better clean up our act. And then you also had a George Wuerthner thing about a recent article in his wonderful Wildlife News about the Trump administration bailing out beef ranchers again. Am I doing okay on the spot quiz here, buddy?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So there, I do pay attention. I do care what you do, Skylar. You are important. I do listen, as I should.
Oh, thank God
And
that I can feel important.
this image is that's a. I just want to give Steve Cutts all the credit in the world. He's a friggin' masterful artist. If he did nothing else but this one, oh, I don't know what it is, 5 minute video, 4 minute, 8 minute video, I don't even know, called Man,
Yeah.
MAN. Look him up, folks, on YouTube. Steve Cutts, Cutts. And this is kind of the end frame of it is a friggin' masterpiece, in Humble Jack's opinion here, what he's done, showing what mankind does on the planet Earth with respect to other animals.
Well, as you just said, it's the end frame. So like this is humans after they've accomplished everything, after they've proven their superiority.
And this thing is created over a decade ago. So the fact that he's in a golden throne with a golden crown,
Oh, holy
no,
shit.
no
I
names,
didn't even
no
think
names.
I didn't e- I honestly didn't even think about that.
How perfect. Just how
Yeah.
fitting and perfect. You're king of everything, man. Congratulations. What exactly are you reigning over other than destruction?
Speaking of King Piggy, I almost showed this last week when we were doing the quiet piggy theme,
Uh-huh.
but doesn't that just say quiet piggy in a different way? Could we just
I had a
There's
friend, a dear friend. I was staying with a couple different friends, but one of them last night was kind of giving me a little, as we're like, okay, see you, Jack. It's like, we had the discussion about, doing activism gentler is really going to work. People don't want to be lectured. People don't want to be shamed or looked down
mm,
to. And I understand his point, and from his point of view, which is not understanding that this is going on to make the bacon. Part of me says yes, you're right from your vantage point, but from mine, knowing what goes on, how we treat animals, I just can't shut up about it. And
well, I tell you what, as long as people like you're describing are are declaring that as humane, and by the way,
he's not. He doesn't know. He's not.
okay,
He's just
even
saying.
worse.
He's just saying, why are you being so aggressive? You
Well,
know.
there's no shortage of unaggressive people. So, like, if there's one group, one show that's a little bit aggressive, then so be it. Because far too many people, I would say, considering the lack of progress, maybe too many people are polite. Um, and here's the dairy industry. This is a photo from Marin County with baby cows still alive, just thrown in the trash can, and yeah.
Again, it isn't repeating our themes as we must. The average person either is ignorant, doesn't know what's going on, or willfully ignorant, and they're aided, of course, to be fair, by a giant marketing and advertising industry which feeds you lies to consume so that you can keep eating animal products. Good morning, Corinne.
Good morning, Corinne, and good morning to Lynn Klein. Chris Cedar, are you here with us? I want to thank you for your tax deductible donation for gas money to get up to Point Reyes.
Oh, thank you for that, Corinne, to Skylar, and good morning, Lynn, and good morning, Ray. And at some point, Skylar, you tell me whether now is the time in our preamble, but I do. Something remarkable did happen to me on Thanksgiving Day because I was in Westchester County, New York, invited back as my friends, the non vegans. They're vegan open or vegan curious and kind of moving in that direction. But they said, come back for Thanksgiving. I said, thank you so much, guys. I love you. You're dear friends, for decades. But I don't want to be at a table with a turkey anymore. I just don't choose to do that. And they said, what if we did a vegan Thanksgiving for you, with you? All of us here will do a vegan Thanksgiving. And it was 10 people, it turned out. I was one of them. And here's the question, Skylar. Have you ever heard of a all vegan, multi-course, huge amount of food, vegan Thanksgiving that had only one vegan seated at the table?
I guess not.
It doesn't make any, like, I don't understand the question. How, if it's a vegan Thanksgiving, why aren't there vegans there? Or why would meat eaters do a vegan Thanksgiving? And the answer is they're dear friends who wanted me to be there. And I was just so, everyone I told this story to, vegan or non-vegan, I'm like, wow, that's, and then even one person was kind of like, well, they shouldn't have to change their diet. I was like, no, I didn't ask them to do it. They offered to do it because that person was a little bit guilty. Like, hey, I wouldn't do that. Well, that wasn't you know what I'm saying? They just got defensive about someone else doing that.
I got to tell you, the shouldn't have to change your diet line really plays into this theme of our importance. It's just like, oh my God, the things you ask of us. People act like we're requesting that they starve.
Well, and that is the training, man. And to, again, to be fair, which even I sometimes annoy myself with, you always have to be fair, Jack. Sometimes just vomit it out there. When I decided I needed to go vegan, because for me, it was an environmental cause, not even, I looked at how we treat animals. I was actually worried, like, oh my God, so much of my diet was meat based, animal product based anyway. I will never be able to eat again, right? That's the fear, at least the one I had. Um, Never bacon, never roast beef, never salami, never hamburgers, hot dogs, milk, butter, cream cheese, ice cream, on and on. This whole eggs, the whole list of shrimp. I can't eat anything. I'm going to die. I actually was worried for my health because I was ignorant. I didn't know there's a ton of foods that aren't animal based. I've just been brainwashed by the culture.
It's astonishing. Most of the planet is producer level food, and yet we can only see meat.
I do want people. So I have a fantasy right now that three people would call in. Of course, not vegan friends here or activists, but like, you guys knock it off about the veganism. Just stop talking that stuff. To which I would say, why? How could I?
Well, what if we called it something else? What if we what if we just called it healthy living show? What if isn't it interesting that men are allowed to stop eating meat if their doctor tells them to, and but if you stop eating meat for the planet or to reduce cruelty, then it's like, oh my god, how are you going to eat? It's like, how many guys, when their doctor said no more red meat and no more pork and things like that because of their heart conditions, said, oh, oh. I mean, it's only when goodness and decency come into the picture that suddenly it's offensive. Like,
Well,
if you're doing it for yourself, oh, well, that's okay. Well, that's okay. You have a heart condition. I guess you can stop consuming insane amounts of misery and planetary death.
if you
But
don't,
if you're doing it of free will just because you realize, oh, maybe this is not something I should be participating in, well, then you deserve to be ridiculed.
I mean, the irony is you're. I mean, as we've talked about before, these themes are recurrent. You're not masculine. You're a pussy. Like, you weren't like, what are you, weak in the stomach? You actually have compassion for other animals? What is wrong with you?
Once again, tying into this theme, because the continuous need to prove ourselves on some level, whether it's masculinity or that we just are capable of subduing everything else, gets us to here.
Yeah, dominant.
And
Yeah,
and the positive part that I like to throw in is that it actually feels good to help. It actually feels good to be kind to the earth, to be kind to animals, and it's actually quite educational when you sit back and look at the system that was in place before we decided to replace it with another system.
it reminds me. There's a movie called Twisters, which was the sequel to Twister. I think it was Spielberg produced, and in it, the theme doesn't matter, but the point is, there's a guy who's chasing after some girl. As always in these adventure movies, they make it personal with a guy and a girl, and he's coming on strong, all cocky, masculine, hitting on her, and she's like having none of the, stop charming you, you get away from me. But then she's wooed because she sees him after a tornado goes through, looking for a dog. Someone's dog is missing, so he is very kind and loves animals, and he
Mm,
goes and finds the
mm,
dog and rescues the dog, and she's impressed. So, okay, like, he's a good guy after all. And
mm,
I swear to God, the next scene, their date. I'm not making this up. It's in a friggin' movie called Twisters, which is 3 years
mhm,
old. Years old. They're at together, laughing and having a good time at a
mm.
rodeo. At a rodeo.
Yeah.
And I saw that through the eyes of a vegan. Like, oh my God, he's kind to dogs. I love him. Let's go watch horses get ridden, torturing cows and bulls and calves and roping, and like, wow, there's our
Well,
culture.
what an example of, again, the insecurity level of, I was going to say men, but I guess all men and women do this now. Jumping from a horse onto the back of a baby and tackling it and then tying it up in front of screaming human beings. How horrifying
I
must that
conquered.
be?
I conquered the baby cow. I'm stronger than a baby cow.
I
You
can't.
can give me a horse and a rope, that is, with a tool.
I can't even fathom the confusion of that baby. I can't fathom the confusion of the horse. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, well, that's the next leap forward, my friend, which is to be able to put yourself in the psyche of a baby cow. Who does that? What do you mean? It's just a cow. It's just a cow, right?
We'll
But don't touch my
we'll get
dog.
to the
I saw you kick my dog. I'm going to break your legs.
we'll get to the theme. Actually, we keep touching on the theme. It's a very big umbrella. Ray Cooper. The specific reason that this theme is on my mind today is comments left on the Leaving the Point um, LA Times channel, in which the anger that production was meant to drum up, much like the Trump administration constantly telling lies is getting creating division. This show that is full of lies and inaccuracies is getting all the comments that you would expect. And one of the comments that stood out to me was, elk are cool and all, but are they really more important than human families? And well, look, you laugh because of where we are mentally, but to a lot of people, they're probably like, "Oh, yeah, that's a good point." Because it's the cheapest, laziest default to go to, "Oh, well, obviously human life comes first." And how many different side arguments can I make against that? That this isn't anti-human life, number one,
Well, it's
and
a
number two, sometimes we shouldn't come first.
that is nothing. That's even a false argument there. That's not about which is more important. That's just ignorance to say that somehow dairy ranching is families and not dairy ranching is anti-family. That's not true. That is false.
Right.
It has nothing to do with it. You can be pro-family and not have anything to do with abusing cows. What the hell? They can be more successful farming other products that don't torture animals. So it's not you're not anti-family. You're anti-slavery.
I remind everyone that 50% of Marin County is already dedicated to agriculture, and the GDP of
Is
Marin
that
County is like nothing
is
thanks
that
to
is that true?
agriculture.
Half of the land
Yeah.
that's not developed for residential housing, half of the open
Yes.
space is pasture.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know it was that high.
Well, and other forms of agriculture. In fact, they cheat because in the gross domestic product they also use marine life, which you don't measure the land in that. So we harvest land and sea. Anyways, to think that we can't allow wildlife to not be, it's not even coexistence. They always make it sound like it's a nice coexistence. No, it's straight up abuse of nature by animal agriculture in Point Reyes. And we won't even let nature have a tiny little peninsula in a national park. And people are still using the, oh, but humans. Oh, but humans. Well, what about the fact that it's good for humans to have some natural systems? Um, God, what do they call it? Ecosystem services. Uh, and that's just nature making the air breathable for us. That's nature making water drinkable for us. And it's like, maybe you should allow that to take place in a few spots on the planet for
Yeah.
your own selfish reasons, much less for everyone else's
Well,
reasons.
back to the recurring theme here, the image you have there of Steve Cuts' final frame of his video Man, showing a guy over a giant, industrialized trash heap, which is not inaccurate of what we're doing to the planet. It's only slightly exaggerated. There are many, many people I know who like, now I don't feel comfortable walking around Point Reyes National Park, the wooded part with trails in it at night. It's not safe. There's nature, the wild is dangerous. There are animals. I mean, the irony is there's nothing out there that's going to bug you. There's some coyotes and maybe one brown bear, excuse me, black bear somewhere if you're lucky. Nothing, one mountain lion, none of which are going to bother you. But even for me to
No.
list those dangers first, as opposed to thousands of acres of safety, but I feel safe walking on a cow pasture because it's civilized, controlled. I know the wild animals are driven off. Nothing's going to leap out of the shadows of my unconscious to attack me. That's the society we've created where you feel safe in a garbage dump or in a city, not in a wild place that hasn't been managed to death.
I've camped out in some very rural spots, and I've seen bear claws on the tree, bear claw markings on the tree.
Mhm.
I've seen coyotes before I went to bed.
Mhm.
And when I go to sleep, my concern is whether there's some psycho human
Human.
walking around, not wildlife.
Right. Right. And, that makes you somewhat, you're not alone, but somewhat unusual. The more people, more time we spend indoors, the more time we get comfortable indoors and get afraid of the big bad unknown out there. You're right. Some Ray says you're right. It's not about what's more important. It's recognize the value of animals' lives to themselves. Well, absolutely for sure. That's the foundational shift of consciousness. Oh yeah, they're people unto themselves, each individual animal. That's the big awareness shift. Um, oh, it's Chris. Good morning, Chris. Maybe you could call the show Channel Compassion. That's actually a wonderful double entendre. Well done. And, Skylar and I talk about the name of the show, and we've had valid criticism that there's already a Skyjack Morgan, who's a vegan activist, does a show. We're Skyjack because it was just our two names hyphenated. But I don't know. I mean, picking a show name is a whole big discussion about, do you do it on the
Well, I
thing
wasn't,
people?
and not to nitpick, but I wasn't even talking about the name of the show. I was just talking about veganism
Yeah,
because people have this allergic reaction to the word.
yeah,
Um, I just don't unnecessarily consume things for selfish purposes that are directly related to the death of the planet and suffering of animals. It's a little bit. I need need an acronym for that. That's
yeah.
catchy, but that's basically the replacement of the word vegan for me.
I choose not to.
Selfish indulgence at the expense of everything else is non-veganism.
As good a definition as any for me. Being always with words and never stopping, it would be, I don't want to torture animals and make them suffer every day, every meal. Crazy me.
You
Crazy.
pussy.
You pussy, exactly.
Corinne asked if you're okay. I noticed you sniffling, and obviously you were around humans and you were on a plane, and yes, that too.
I think
But isn't it? I just think it's. I am often thankful that I don't go into the office, even though I contemplate going back into the office for the sake of um,
money.
money. I, I'm so disconnected. I'm so unfamiliar with it that I forgot what it's called.
That's right. That's why I was I forgot why I was there.
But isn't it funny that it's being surrounded by humans when you are going to become sick, and yet we will have the nerve to point at nature and be like, oh, there's probably some disease out there, you know. Oh, don't let dirt touch your food, things like that.
I had a very sweet guy. No names. Got me into. I was in New York City. I was at Rockefeller Center. I was skating at Wellman Rink. I'm going to do some pictures next week. It was a wonderful whirlwind trip of a tour of my old home. But I actually got into the corporate offices of NBC Studios, and it took me. I was flashing back to my days at J. Walter Thompson, J. Walter Tombstone, as I called it. I was in my 20s. I got a business card, a corporate job, a advertising copywriter, J. Walter Thompson, Jack Gashite copywriter. Carol, the secretary, was assigned to me to take my calls. And, I had all the perks. And all I had to do was go in every day, all day, and write advertising to sell. In my case, the largest account I was on was Ford Trucks in the 1980s. And nice people, friendly workplace, cool boss with a sense of humor, for the most part. And I mean, it was fun for a while I was new to that. I made it over the wall as a freelancer for my freelance family and had a corporate job that paid pretty well. And if I stuck around, it would have paid very well. The only trouble was I was miserable because it wasn't of any meaning to me.
Well, living a miserable life is what makes us better than other creatures.
Hey, 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 boy, are you sarcastic. There's just no call for that, Skylar. Thank you.
and after you're miserable most of the year, then you take a vacation to go where? Something nature related quite often, right?
Often, yeah,
But
we're cities. I mean, not everybody's well, for me, the tree hugger, for you, the animal lover.
okay, come on. A lot of people go to the mountains. A lot of people go to the beach. A lot of people um, go to a forest. If a city is a change for you, you might go to the city.
Yeah, no, it's funny that the 13-year-old girl in the family I was visiting was like, I don't want to go to the city because she's in the city a lot for school and stuff, and she lives near New York. And I was like, yeah, let's just stay home and play Fictionary or play poker. I think she wanted to learn how to play poker. I want to corrupt a minor. But we went in and I went ice skating at Rockefeller Center under the Christmas tree. It wasn't yet lit, which I hadn't done in, I don't know, 40 years.
I want to encourage some interaction with the viewers today because I was hoping for people to provide a couple of examples, both directions, of people using this lame excuse, oh, but humans first, Or if you can come up with some examples in which you actually would embrace that justification. Oh, we got to put humans first in this case. Are there any cases in which you say, yes, goodbye, sorry, you have to go for our sake? I'll give everyone an example.
I can think of one else
Once,
after you're done. Yeah.
once again, going back to my shark documentarian days, when I was in Western Australia, and I got some footage of a Senate hearing in which the Greens party they have over there was up and pointing out uh, you're culling, the shark culling, which is the intentional targeting of sharks and killing them for the sake of tourism at beaches, even if they're a protected species, despite the fact that there is no evidence that that actually makes beaches safer.
Right.
The Greens was pointing out, well, you haven't caught any of your target species. You're killing all of these other species. You are not measuring them like you said you were going to. Um, there's evidence that says you're making the beaches more dangerous, and a very long, long list of pretty good points. It wasn't like vegan arguments. It was just like, hey, you're not even doing what you said you were going to do.
Right.
And what's the other side get up and do? Just starts reading. We still believe that humans come first. We still value human life, and that was enough. Oh, oh, freedom isn't free. These colors don't run. All that freaking type of stupid shit.
So emotional misdirection, not the truth.
But it's not just the emotional misdirection, it's the simplicity and ease of just, once again, being, yeah, but we're more important.
But to your point though, you're saying that wasn't even an actual case of killing the sharks made the beach safer. It wasn't even, as you said, doing what they said they were going to do. It was all just misdirection. It was a lie. We're going to do this
Yeah.
thing. I mean, as I saw your documentary about it, it was saying they're going to kill sharks with the netting in South Africa.
Well, I'm talking about the Australian documentary that I made in 2014. You should watch that one too if you have spare time.
Okay. Oh, lots of it.
So this was a long time ago. Um,
Okay.
the one you saw was a follow up, but yes, the new one is in South Africa. The other one looked at Australia.
But in both cases, I mean, shark attacks aren't that big at beaches, and what they do to supposedly kill them doesn't actually kill them, which would be horrible anyway, and reduce the danger. I mean, it's, oh God, don't let me get me started, Skyward. It's just all of it's so insane. It's kill nature, kill nature, kill nature, because nature's dangerous, and now we're safe. Even though, oh, by the way, we're actually, even that isn't even true. Like, okay, let's just kill everything and make that picture again in the sitting in the junkyard where there's no animals to harm us. We're safe, but we're dead because there's no atmosphere. There's no oxygen. There's no plant life. I mean, nothing. That's where we're headed on this current trajectory of just killing all of the wild. It's not just pretty and, oh, I want to go hug a bull, a bear, or whatever. It's, we're killing our own ecosystems that sustain humans as well. It's as if, oh, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to posit something that the fate and the health of non-human animals and human animals, both terrestrial and oceanic, are intertwined. What do you think? Crazy? That we actually all animals, human and non-human, depend on the same ecosystem to live, to survive, to breathe and eat. Crazy. This is beyond veganism. I think this is drifting into communism. Well, I think my work here is done. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you. I'll be back with another black eye next week.
uh, any
Any comments coming in? Are we stirring the pot? Are we getting anybody?
any callers? Any callers?
Have we figured out
Want
how to
to?
get people to call in? Is there a quick instruction for people who might want to call in? Ray, I
A
think,
lot
is
of people
working
have
in
called
Tuesday
in.
Market this morning, or he would likely want to call. And we want to have Ray Cooper on, the proprietor of World Peace Vegan Chocolate, who I've been always singing his praises. And a side note, while we're waiting for people to get up the gumption to call in, um, tomorrow, Wednesday, another shout out to Wednesday, December 3rd, up in Sonoma County at the courthouse, Sonoma County Courthouse, is the sentencing trial
Wednesday?
In court date tomorrow, Wednesday, December 3rd, for Zoe Rosenberg,
Oh,
who faces up to 4.5 years in prison for, I don't know, pulling out, what, $40 worth of chickens, which he was claiming to rescue, an opinion I share, that were going to die anyway because they were so maltreated in the slaughterhouse. And Corinne, I think, is going to go up there, and I'm planning on going up there as well, probably with a guy named Mike. But um, anyway, it'll be really fascinating. The judge is now going to be deciding, I think, with pressure from the DA, who's acting on behalf of Petaluma Poultry, um, whether to incarcerate a first offender, nonviolent. It's basically breaking and entering at night into a facility, uh, theft. She admitted, and she tried to. Her case was, this is why I did it. Was these animals were being treated illegally, inhumanely, illegally, and I rescued them from that, and I'm willing to pay the price for it. But it's certainly not. She's charged with, the biggest conviction is, or accusation is, felony conspiracy. Felony
mm.
conspiracy, meaning she was planning with other people. It was a conspiracy, which, all of which she agrees to what she did, but her full motivation and the context. Let me show you what it's like in there, in the full flavor of, to justify what I did. The jury was not
Mm.
allowed to see a lot of that evidence, some of it, but not a lot of it. And they voted to convict, by the way. They just took it on face value. Like, you broke a law, you admitted it, you're convicted, you're guilty, and now the judge is going to decide what the sentence will be. First offense, nonviolent, 22, 23-year-old Zoe Rosenberg. What will happen to her as a result of rescuing 4 chickens and having the courage to draw attention to the issue of the terrible conditions of chickens in facilities?
And the fact that this animal agriculture uh, company was, in fact, violating ethical standards,
Animal welfare laws. Yeah.
welfare laws, that's just completely blown
Right.
aside.
Exactly. That's not given the full attention it deserves, and it's what the young woman is basically trying to say. This is why I did this, and that is, I mean, it was kind of allowed in as a side note. I was just there the last day of the trial, and it was 2.5 weeks, so I don't know all that went on and the full scope of it. But I've been reading up on it, and I'm going to go tomorrow because I'm interested in the topic in a big way.
May I let me play devil's advocate for a moment and
Please.
say, well, maybe that's a separate trial. That that corporation wasn't on trial that day,
Hmm.
so whether or not they are guilty doesn't apply. Is there any chance in hell that they would ever be brought to task for violating those laws?
Uh,
And who has the money to sue them?
Great question. And this is what activists do, which is they try to get these issues to trial, as you wisely point out, would not otherwise be on trial unless you do something daring, outrageous, and illegal. Like, I'm sorry, I'll say it. Rosa Parks broke a law, sat on the front of the bus. You just broke the law, lady. Go to the back of the bus. That's a law. You want to challenge the law? Go challenge it in court. Well, she did it as an activist, which means you put your body on the line, take your body and do something illegal and risk incarceration. That's what an activist, or many activists, do that. And they're more courageous than I am these days. So, no, to answer your question, short answer, no. No, it wouldn't come to trial. And in fact, oh, by the way, that was the other part of the trial. The evidence was, we notified the authorities repeatedly that these violations were going on, and they did not inspect and enforce and do anything about it. This was the last resort. So Chris says, at the moment, I can't think of a reason to put humans above other animals, but I'm just a crazy vegan. Welcome to the club, Chris. You're not alone.
Boy, I've got a, you know, as dumb as the oh my God, you'll starve if you don't eat miserable, tortured animals is. I just have to comment on how good my girlfriend's garlic vegan mashed potatoes smell to cooking. And it's
Oh,
just
please.
potatoes. It's just potatoes. I mean, it's simple. And I was just like, wow, I'm walking up the sidewalk. I'm like, wow, this smells great. Can't wait. Another one that could be just warming in the skillet along a lot of times next to garlic is onions. There's all these things that I think I personally was guilty of not giving any credit to because I gave all the credit to meat.
Uh,
And I heard these people talk. I heard some people in the bar talking about, oh yeah, my mother in law starts the turkey preparation 5 days. I'm not joking, 5 days ahead of time.
Basting,
I'm like, I don't know.
uh,
I
okay,
didn't give a shit
marinating.
about the details. Whatever it is, I think you could make just about anything taste good if you spend 5 days on it, right? God damn.
Well,
Exactly how proud of consuming meat are you when you put 5 days of work into it?
well, to your previous point, or at least as I see it, I never used to do something I now do as vegan, which I take a bag of small sweet potatoes, smaller ones. You can cut up bigger ones. I put them on a baking sheet in the toaster oven, not even the oven, for I don't know, an hour and 20 minutes or so, hour and 15 minutes at 425 degrees, and then I take them out, let them cool, and eat them. And they're incredibly sweet and delicious. Now, for most people, that would not be an interesting enough flavor, I guess. I mean, they say, oh, that's sweet, but I want to put some sauce on it. I want to put some ketchup, mustard, relish, hot sauce, chili peppers. And what I found, and I don't claim to be a gourmet, I'm a gourmand. Um, the less spicy and elaborate sauces foods I eat, the more I
Mm-hmm.
like the basic taste of just, wow, an apple is really, really good. A ripe pear, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need the elaborate preparation of food to really enjoy my food. It's a simplifying. And that's not for
Mm-hmm.
everybody. I think of Stanley Tucci, who did a show about traveling to Italy and finding the wonderful, creamy meats and textures of tortured animals all across Italy and just relishing in the delicious cheeses and fresh meat cuts, that he's completely unaware of. This intelligent, sensitive guy, just completely clueless about animals. And it just makes me crazy.
Well, you desensitize your taste buds also with this onslaught of salt. And as you reduce your salt intake, then your taste buds can actually do their job again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, here's the call-in link just in case someone wants to try it. I know, Corinne. I know it doesn't work for you, and I'm sorry. I don't, and you already read Chris Cedars' comment.
Can't think of a reason.
Speaker connected. Fellow. Okay. Fellow. Do you know Fellow?
Nope. We're going to find out.
Hello, Fellow. First time.
Oh my God. I know who that is. Wow. He's making fun of my style. So this man is James Robinson, my host. Jimmy, why did you welcome from Westchester County, New York? I see your face. Can I hear your voice? No, no sound yet. Oh my God. This is the guy to ask, why did you invite some vegan from California to come to your dinner table with 9 people, family members? And were you willing to host a vegan Thanksgiving, even though you yourself are not vegan?
I
Oh, there
sent
we go.
you. There we go. Okay.
Morning, Jimmy Robinson. This is
Good
Skylar.
morning.
Well,
Good
welcome.
morning. Hi, guys. Hi,
Wow.
guys.
And you're in your
Afternoon
office.
for you.
He's sitting in the seat. That's his office where he let me do the show last week. So just to cut to it, Jimmy, why did
Why am I
you?
here? I'm here because I just got this text from you and there was a link and I clicked on it and I was like, oh my God, you're on the air.
Okay, then. So why did you invite a vegan Thanksgiving and were willing to have your entire family? Not, was it 9 people without me? All do a vegan Thanksgiving, even though you guys aren't vegan. Why did you do that? And tell me about it.
We did it because we love you and we wanted to see you and make you happy and make you comfortable.
Right, but if I said I'm a slave owner and I'm going to bring slaves and beat them at the table, you'd say, "Oh, come do that here." That would not have appealed to you. You were open to the idea. Why?
We're interested in seeing the way you live and what you do, and we're interested, obviously, in the whole thing. And we've been together with you many times and have heard you talk for many years about being vegan, and we were, I guess, curious enough to play with the idea and accommodate you. And everybody was very willing. I wasn't expecting everybody to be very willing, but they were. So we were able to have you as an honorable guest.
So I appreciate all that, and I love you back. But I want to make it not about me and about kind of the whole issue and your your crazy friend who's gone this route, and what that effect, what if any effect that has on you? Because you got two wonderful dogs that I got to put on my king size bed and sleep with. Maybe I should not go too far into this, but anyway, I got to hang out with your dogs. You're a huge animal lover, but like me for 50 years, not a vegan. You're inclined, but and you're also a food guy. You're a foodie. You spend a lot of time in the kitchen and cooking, and you're into sauces and food. And you just made your first, what I call vegan goulash. I call it a Jewash because I'm Jewish. But you
It's
just
our second. It was our second.
Skyward, jump in with a pointed question if you have one, because you're outside of our conversation with my friend here. If there's a
Well, you
specific
just
question.
now took a breath, so I'll think about it.
Not really, not really.
Jimmy, Jimmy, how carnivorous are you? Because like I came from a upbringing in which chicken was considered the vegetable on the plate.
Just like that. I came from the same place.
How difficult did you find your Thanksgiving then?
Not
This
difficult.
Thanksgiving?
Not difficult. No, because we had all the important flavors, and I don't know. We've been eating very well. We went to all the stores and tried to find all the vegan products that there were at all the myriad organic markets around here. So that was a little bit of a challenge because it's, as you know, not so easy sometimes to get the best of the yogurts or the best of the milks or whatever it is you're looking for. I mean, the vegan, obviously the plant-based stuff. But we did all that, and we adjusted our menu, adjusted our recipes. We used the vegan butter, and we used soy milk or almond. What did we do? Oat milk. Some things taste a little funny, but we had apple pie, we had pumpkin pie, we had sweet potatoes, we had cranberry sauce, we had stuffing. All those things say Thanksgiving. Nobody really loves turkey around here, so it wasn't too difficult.
And you didn't even mention the one that Chris Cedar's talking about, mushrooms. She went out and made a mushroom Wellington. The mushrooms are pretty good.
Great, yeah. We did actually make these beautiful roasted heads of cauliflower, purple, and there was white, purple, and like an orange or a yellow. So they were beautiful, and we had a special recipe where we made this jammy onion stuff, and we made a pesto for some, and like a pistachio pesto. So there was like a main course of sorts, but it would be nice to go in the mushroom realm too.
Absolutely.
It was great, right, Jack? It was great.
It was great, and as I've said, I'm going to be asking around the next months and saying, anybody know of a 10-person vegan Thanksgiving? All the food was vegan, where there was only one vegan at the table. It doesn't make any sense. What is that? That's a contradiction. It doesn't make sense.
They were all vegan that day.
Yeah,
well, they ate vegan that day. Yeah, as anybody, well, exactly. As the observation you just made points to, you can. I resent the thing that I didn't take a breath. I took at least one breath in my flood of words without pause, so nobody else could say anything. That's the way I speak. I'm from New York. Jimmy understands this, right, Jimmy? Don't you?
sometimes.
Speaking of being a New Yorker, I was just about to segue into trashing Trump. We still like-minded people here, or?
Oh yeah!
Curious
Oh, God, yeah.
like.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? How can I be dear friends with this guy who is a big Trumper?
I don't know, because you won't stop talking about the conversation you enjoyed with the Proud Boy. So anything's possible.
True, I suppose.
But yeah, I wrote in the description that, building on last week, I'm continuing to be liberated in what I can say. Last week, I can be respectful and transparent when I call someone a piggy, and now I can call people retards too. I mean, it just keeps opening up and open stupid, and I just.
So Skyward is referring to. You do? Okay, I didn't follow Trump calling someone a retard.
This was Trump's Thanksgiving message to the world, calling an opponent a retard. Happy Thanksgiving. Nope, that wasn't even included. So how are you New Yorkers doing with all of this?
There's plenty of New Yorkers, I think, who are Trump supporters. They just don't live so much around here, but we're surrounded by them everywhere. Like there's no level playing field. You have to be sort of careful who you talk to and feel them out. first. Just like anywhere, it's like traveling through America. You're gonna find a little bit of everything. So that's. I mean, I was at the dog park this morning. Actually, Jack came with me several times, and I'm talking to some guy. Somehow or other, I found out that he was in the reserves, Army Reserves, and I said, "Oh my God, wow! Are you? We had something to talk about because I've worked for the military before as a photographer, and I knew right away that he's like not a Trump supporter. Like he freaking hates him, and Hegseth is just like his boss. He called him a turd, and that was nice to make that. I think, Jack, you actually met that guy. His name was James. He was the guy who was bringing water for all the dogs.
Yes, yes.
He's been active.
Jimmy, I want to. We'll talk with. I'm going to talk to Skylar about you. I want to pull us back off of Trump because it's not what the show is, and we are in the Thanksgiving theme. This is the only show after Thanksgiving, and Leah made a comment I want to read and talk to Jimmy about it. This is a really perfect opportunity. I knew when I got back that Leah, who's the, I don't know whether she's the angel or the devil up in my head. What are you laughing about? You were in
Leah,
the comments.
she's so fiery.
Yeah, no, she's awesome, Leah. I love you, but you're more outspoken than I am, and I can be outspoken. And she asks, Jack, did you show your friends the truth of what happens? And that is what's extreme, not speaking up against it so they can understand the ethics behind veganism. Completely 100% reasonable question. And I was sitting at the table, and I was obviously the topic came up because everybody was there. Why are you vegan? Blah 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 blah. And I was back in the ferment of, well, let me just show you this. I'm thinking, let me just show you 5 minutes. I can talk. It's all words. It's intellectual. Just look at 5 minutes of slaughterhouse footage and say, this is what all animals go through to get to your plate. Doesn't matter whether they're on a supposedly small farm or it's humane. It's all nonsense. And let me show it to you. And at the table, there's no way to do that while we're having this meal. They were already like, let's do vegan. Let's try it. And I made the choice in the moment, Jimmy. I mean, you wouldn't know this. I didn't even talk to you about this. Not really, not directly. I wanted you to all have this great experience as this nice guy, and you can ask me questions afterwards at the table. And like, I had brought a movie to show you, and like, it's with your 13-year-old daughter, the beautiful Zoe. Like, I don't want to show her slaughterhouse footage. I just didn't get into it. So no, Leah, with a little bit of shame or embarrassment, I didn't, follow through because I knew I could do that later. And so this is a topic we activists, Jimmy, talk about all the time. Like, and my other guest I was staying with for a day or two was, Richard, who and he was kind of just out of nowhere in response to me saying, you really shouldn't be so strident about this. You should really be more polite. You're going to win more people with that. And I know that argument. Lee and I talk about this. Skylar and I talk about this shit all the time. How do you propose your radical idea to not torture animals because the truth is hidden from people? Were you open to seeing a movie? Would you want to see a movie? Where are you with all the vomit I just spewed?
Do I want to see a movie, or did I want to see a movie on Thanksgiving, or at the table, or what?
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to see a movie on Thanksgiving. I've seen a few that you've sent me, or I've seen a few things that you've sent me over the years. I've seen chicken slaughterhouse. I've seen beef cow slaughterhouse. I don't know if I've seen pig slaughterhouse. We've certainly talked about the egg industry and the dairy industry. And all of that is enlightening. I don't think most people are aware of that. I think my family is now aware of that. I think that that TikTok video or that YouTube video, or what was it, TikTok or YouTube, that thing that we saw that guy doing. You showed.
Oh yeah. Let me just tell Leah and Skylar. So it was Danny Ishe, who is a vegan activist who's, at least I know him on Instagram. Leah, of course, turned me on to him. And he did a shtick where he is playing multiple characters and you're hearing all the, so if you were on a desert island with a pig, would you have it? And if I killed a turkey with my own knife, would that be okay? And can you eat meat? Oh, actually, I made this stuffing just for you, but I put butter in it. Would you still eat it? And it's a rapid fire. The whole thing is, Instagram, 60 seconds, and it's really hilarious. It's all the stuff that we vegans hear. And that's the Instagram post that I commented on and said, hey, folks, just to flip the script, get this. My dear friend Jimmy over here invited me to his family Thanksgiving and said, we'll do it vegan for you. Who does that? And it's over 750 likes now, Jimmy. 750 other people, vegans probably, said, wow, you know who your friends are. That's awesome. So that's the video he saw for the first time. What did you think?
How dare you, Jack, talk your friends into having an even healthier Thanksgiving? Kind of twisted.
So, so Jimmy, this is I really appreciate your being here. This is so interesting because we haven't had someone like you who is a big animal lover moving toward vegetarianism, if not veganism. You're not fully there because you're normal. You're in the culture where you don't get support to do so. We went to all these fancy stores in Westchester County, which is not quite Beverly Hills, but it's educated, um, wealthy community, and they have a couple of vegan products to their credit. But there's a whole gigantic case of cheeses, and then over there's one cheese. It's okay, it's still that, like Marin County, not dissimilar from San Rafael where I'm sitting. So you're a smart guy, and you have things to say. Any response to any of that, or why you aren't? And I don't mean like you should be vegan. I'm not proselytizing now. I'm just you're like halfway there psychologically, undoing the cultural conditioning.
Well, look how long I've known you, and look at how long that I've been hearing you espouse all of this veganism stuff. And I don't mean stuff. I've been listening to you and listening to your what happened to you there, listening to what you're doing, and it's taken us this long with our friendship and knowing a lot and loving animals and all that for me to get to the place where you know, I feel like I could do this a bunch of days a week. You know, that's how hard it is to
And
make a
you have a 13-year-old daughter who goes out into the normal world, and she has to cope with it all.
Yeah, and she's got her eating style, and she's not a big meat eater at all. She does not even like meat. She would say, I don't like meat. She would say, I could become vegetarian, but I need my eggs, something like that,
Right.
Um,
And even there's an activist I haven't turned you on to yet named Gary Yourofsky, Jewish guy. Not that it matters, but since you and I are Jewish, I'll bring that up as the tribe here, the clannishness of the Jews. And he stopped lecturing at high schools because he felt it wasn't fair to show a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old or 14-year-old slaughterhouse footage, have them get really upset and say, I don't want to do it again. And then they have to go back to their household where they don't have control over all the food in the fridge or on the table. So he goes to colleges. That's where his big impact was made, to college kids who have left home and they can do what they want. They're their own entities for the first time in their lives. And I agree with that reasoning. So I wouldn't show. I mean, it depends on the kid, but Zoe's a sweetheart, and I would be very careful about showing her really brutal footage.
I got a question for Jimmy. Are you and Jack about the same age?
identically.
Identically. How does Jack's health compare to yours? Like you guys, in terms of physical activity, running partners, or anything like that? Like,
He's
does his
always
health?
Jack's always been, really, really, really active and a runner. I'm not a runner. I'm more like a tennis player and a
Hmm.
gardener and a dog walker and a skier and a biker. But like, not he's a real
Fitness,
super
fitness,
super fit athlete. His body craves extreme workouts. Mine doesn't.
Okay.
and I was that way, but on meat and animal products, and I'm that way as a vegan. It doesn't. I didn't switch for health reasons. It wasn't my thing.
I know, but just
Mhm.
you don't show up as a demonstration physically of why not to be vegan.
You follow that logic? It's a compliment. He just said you don't look like a fat ass lardo meat eater like a lot of them are. Is that correct, Skylar?
You forgot retard and piggy if you want to be
A
respectful.
retarded pig meat eater.
Listen, I think it's such an amazing thing for people who are 50, 60, who've had a real somewhat of a sedentary lifestyle. Maybe they have high cholesterol, maybe they have blood pressure issues, maybe they need to move their body more, and all of that joints are hurting. I think that kind of a lifestyle or diet, aside from the ethical treatment of animals, would be fantastic for so many people, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And
I
because
mean, I used to hear people come up at the end of my film, and my film wasn't about human health, but they would just be so amazed that for years they were trying to solve issues, and when they went vegan, the problems went away.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And I'm kind of like Jack. I don't really suffer from that, whether I was a meat eater or not. But when you hear people say the only thing that finally cured the ailments that were plaguing me was switching my diet, It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to hear. I mean, I would
Yeah,
think that that would be inspiring.
yes, it is. It's very inspiring. Um,
So
yeah.
Leah made another comment. God bless you. Hi, Leah. If your dog, this is, I think, to you, Jimmy, if your
Mm.
dog or you, well, you have two beautiful dogs, Peaches and Willow. If Peaches or Willow or you were in the slaughterhouse to create unnecessary products, how quickly would you want it to stop? How would you want someone to speak up for you? And she also, by the way, just says, nice to see his openness, which you are. It's why we're close friends. But I mean, the answer to that, Leah, and then I'll let you say something to it, Jimmy, if you have, we're shielded from the truth of it. I mean, if the average person just followed a cow down the slaughter line and then saw it cut up and made into a burger, throw it on the grill, and hand you the burger in a bun, most people, not all, most people would say, "Oh no, I don't. That was terrible. I don't want to see an animal go through that." We're intentionally shielded from the process. Hence the, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be a vegetarian or vegan line from supposedly attributed to Paul McCartney. But
I think most people would, but I guess there's always the person who's like the farmer who, who grows up the little family farm where they raise the pig and then they go kill the pig, and
yeah,
that's been for like thousands of years, where people are used to like having livestock around, and I can't answer to that how that's always been, that's part of our human um, conditioning, to have small family farm, having lived with animals side by side, whether it's a chicken or a pig or a horse or whatever, cow, and then there's dinner, right?
yeah, well, to your point, conditioning. I mean, for me, it's always my phrase is cultural conditioning. I don't
Yeah,
like the word brainwashing because it has some different resonance to it. But cultural conditioning is so powerful; it just makes people blind and do the things we all did growing up. All three of us here were raised meat eaters. You know,
I want to acknowledge an honest doubter who commented earlier, just got my mom off dairy milk and onto nut milk. Congratulations. And also said, everyone loves their dogs so much that they feed them 4D meat daily. That's a pretty depressing. The 4Ds is pretty depressing, but I get you mean, honest doubter. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like, oh, wow, who would have known that putting bad things in my body might be causing physical ailments? Well, we do that to a lot of people do that to their dogs. It's like all of a sudden the budget runs out when it comes to getting your dog quality food. Well, let's get uh, the scrapings off the slaughter room floor and all the fillers. And for some reason, my dog developed cancer.
well, that's more advertising, though, right? They sell it as yummy Alpo, not beef tails or cow tails or whatever.
what do you
I just
suppose?
want to get
What do you propose feeding your dogs? You're saying that they should have a vegetarian diet as well, and
I'm
grain?
Leah,
not. I'm saying I mean, maybe Leah would say so, and there are vegan dog food companies out there, but I'm starting at the absolute basic that when you walk into Costco and get a 60-pound bag of dog food for $15, there's probably a warning in that price that you got that much food for that low amount of money. To anyone, it's like you're probably not giving your dog good nutrition.
just one correction there. The dog food is really expensive. And to your point, though, it would be
You're
even
right.
more expensive if it wasn't subsidized. No, dog food is, Jimmy will know. I mean, he's buying it, and other people in the show have dogs and they're feeding. It's expensive. It really, like that 50-pound bag of dog food is more like $75 in the pet stores. It's really expensive. And that's subsidized. It would be way more expensive if not for government subsidies because of the power of the meat and dairy lobby to push on the government to give them public money to lower their prices.
And by the way, Jack, you said that we weren't going to talk about Trump. I actually was supposed to include the George Wuerthner article exposing how Trump is reopening, going backwards with giving even more land to cattle grazing to try and make up for when he pissed off the ranchers with his Argentina deal.
Yeah,
But
no,
so we don't have time for that this show, but that's where we were going to go, and a teaser for people who want to tune in for that in the
yeah, no,
future.
I appreciate that, and thank you. We will do it in the future, and it's a great topic. It was so unusual. I didn't know Jimmy was going to jump in. In fact, I sent him the wrong link. Obviously, I sent him the watch the show link, not the hey, there's my link, and you can be in the show. But I'm glad it just worked out perfectly because there's the guy who like, what was it like for them? Here he is to be asked that question.
And
Ah,
We've sort of lost him, or at least lost image, but I appreciate you joining. We can't see anymore. I don't blame you for not sticking around for all of that. He got kind of put on the spot. An honest doubter, boy, is this a topic worth an entire show? Because I actually agree with you.
May I read it?
Yeah, please read it.
So, honest doubter, and I know Ray Cooper agrees with you in agreeing with this. Here's the comment. I honestly don't think pet ownership is ethical. It's friendly enslavement for one's own companion/companionship. So I don't know whether you just heard that, Jimmy. It's a whole nother topic and a whole nother show. Not for now. And I mean, you know what it is with that, honest doubter, for me? I choose my battles. I already have taken on too many between the environment, not cutting down trees out in California because there's fire danger, veganism, not denying the climate crisis, which is what we have to do in order to not change our behavior. Oh, capitalism. Like, and now I'm going to get people that say they shouldn't have a dog. Like, I got enough work. It's good enough. Anyway, thank you, Jimmy, for tuning in. That was awesome. I'll call you later.
That was awesome. Well, I think this is worth a show. And I'll tell you that I'm like Jack. I need to be physically active. The second that I'm out of here, my dogs and I are going on another hike. This is about as little attention as I give to my dogs. They sleep with me in the bed, and we exercise all day, and we cuddle, and I feed them high quality food. And a lot of times when I'm out walking, I'm watching dogs that are actually on walks, which, depending on where you want to put your standards, people would be like, how dare you criticize someone who's walking their dog? But I'm looking at that and I'm like, you have absolutely no relationship with this dog. It's being drug around so that it'll defecate and you're going to go back home. And so, there's a whole lot of things to talk about with dog ownership. And, it's not that different than animal agriculture. Do you know how many dog rescues in the conversation somebody is saying to me, oh, they came out of Fresno or they came out of the Central Valley? I mean, it's an entire industry based on life, producing life and selling it. And just because you don't slaughter it and eat it immediately, I mean, that's about the only difference. And there's so many levels of shitty life. It's like you can have a factory farmed animal that had a shockingly shitty life and then it gets killed, or you could have a cow out on some pasture and then it gets killed. And I'll say that pet ownership is tricky enough that cows out on a pasture probably have a better life than some animals that have been rescued from shelters.
Well, from an abusive owner, yes, but we all know people who rescued animals from shelters, and they had they have a charmed life. They're amazing. And I just want to add also, on a serious note, that when I was younger, I used to practice animal husbandry until they caught me at it. See, Chris, thank you, Jimmy, for being here. To help you become vegan, oh my God, Chris, don't stop there. Once this is show, well, I can call you later, but finish that thought. Finish that thought, Chris.
And I will also thank Jimmy for coming on. And he's here. If you would say goodbye, it's time to. You're on the scene. People are thanking you for coming on.
You're back on. You have closing. We're closing down the show. You have anything?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had these calls that came through. I didn't know how to deal with this interface and taking a call and all that stuff.
So, anything you'd like to say in closing, my friend?
I'm really happy you came for Thanksgiving and exposed everybody to your life and your lifestyle. And I think that we have definitely made changes in our diet, and we're going to continue to think things through. And definitely, we're going to be changing out our milk. We're not going to be drinking regular milk anymore, and eating many more plant-based meals. So I think that's fantastic, and raise the consciousness, which I think is really a win. Raise our consciousness to the point where I don't think that we'll be eating as much meat anymore ever. So I think that it was great. It was great seeing you. It was great having the vegan Thanksgiving. And
it's great to hear.
I can't say we're going to be 100%. That's just impossible for my family, you know. But I think that the consciousness is there 100%. It's just, as you said, it's the conditioning, which is not easy. And there's three of us, so you need three people to be feeling the exact same thing all the time.
Yeah, and your wife Jenny is open to it, which is amazing. She's actually in some ways was kind of pushing on you. I know about the milk, and you just said on the trip that actually you really, or I think she said about you, you actually prefer the taste of oat milk now. You really like it, so it's not even
Yes.
Oat milk is good. Oat milk's really good.
right. Which is
And it
I mean,
doesn't spoil nearly as
That's
fast as
nice.
real milk.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that.
Well, it spoils eventually, I'm sure, but like milk spoils rather quickly, I would say.
and the irony is raw milk, which is actually milk that's not homogenized and pasteurized, spoils much faster. The stuff that we call milk is actually a pretty inert, denuded substance because
Yeah.
it's heated, pasteurized, and then homogenized, pushed through a screen to break up the fat globules, all of which gives it a longer shelf life. So it's already a highly processed food. People, oh, it just comes out of a cow. No, it doesn't. It's a highly processed food, as is oat. But oat, by the way, doesn't torture animals. And we're the only milk. We're the only milk. Did you know, Jimmy? Just here's another example. It's so interesting to have like a vegan friendly non-vegan on. Vegan curious, veg curious. We're the only mammal that drinks the milk of another species regularly, and the only mammal that drinks the bovine, well, it's bovine growth hormone. We drink milk, mother's milk, past our own infancy. We're taught to drink it into adulthood. No other animal does that.
I know all that. You
You
know.
do. Okay. I mean, it's just a bizarre thing. We were
No,
all raised.
it's very bizarre, and like the more you like talk about that and think about that and explain to people how bizarre and weird that is, I think you would get more more people to convert to not drinking milk and to understand the hazards perhaps of it as well.
You know, and I just realized the film you could watch with Zoe. She might be bored, but it's not the what I call the snuff films. It's not seeing the brutality of it. Is a film called Forks Over Knives, and it's the health aspects of it, and it reinforces the notion that you don't need meat products. And it's a lineup of AMA doctors, MDs, saying you don't need this stuff. It's a really great documentary. It's not going to freak anybody out with like seeing the truth, seeing the blood. It's just about the health aspects of it, which
I
might have
think I've seen it. I think you turned me onto that a long time ago.
really
Yeah, well, you've been talking about it for a long time. That
have
movie is.
I.
And Honest Doubter says that Jack came to his Thanksgiving also. I didn't know that.
I'm sorry.
Jack came to my Thanksgiving and exposed everyone, says an Honest Doubter.
This is early onset dementia. I honestly forget who Honest Doubter is right now. Again, I don't remember. Sorry. Or as Donald Trump would say, I don't remember. Making fun of a physically disabled person.
Sorry. Oh, let's see here. I'm sorry. I had you got to do your antic when the comment is blocking you. Go ahead.
Jack came to my Thanksgiving and exposed everyone. They heat everything that kills all the nutrients.
No, I meant this.
Oh, this. I don't remember. Right. They heat everything that kills the nutrients. It's pasteurization. Then they add bulk powdered vitamins back to the sludge.
And then they have the nerve to go on these campaigns about real milk. I think it's hilarious. It's like, oh, it's only real if it comes from a cow, and we've altered it shockingly.
Honest Doubter, would you do me a favor and call me? Call my number. Don't tell anybody. It's 415-488-4200. Don't tell anybody. Just call my office when this is done. I'll put my phone back on the hook, and I want to speak with you briefly so I never freaking forget who you are. Appreciate your listening. Jimmy, thank you for coming. I'll call you later.
Jimmy.
And,
okay. Nice meeting you guys. Nice seeing you.
You too. Come back on anytime. Jack, time for me to go run with the dogs.
Yay. Thanks, Howard. We'll check out this podcast, folks, on the Watching Humans podcast. Please make a comment there and like it and subscribe to his feed. Throw him some money too if you really like his stuff. And I'm Tree Spirit Project, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday, every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Thanks, everyone.